Hey, I'm Karen. That's a clip from a commercial that I made, and I'm gonna be showing you how we made it. So first, let's watch the whole thing. Stop motion is really time consuming. Every frame that you see is a picture that we had to take one at a time. There was a lot of things that stressed me out about making this video, but the thing that stressed me out the most was going over budget. The thing is, when you're on set, everyone has to get paid. The director, the DP, the lighting people, the animator, the art director, the PAs. If you think that the shoot is gonna take you 3 days, but then it ends up taking you 5 days, then that's maybe thousands of dollars that you have lost. So how do you prevent it? Tip number 1, plan, plan, plan. You cannot plan enough for something like this. Now, if it's just you and your camera and you're making a really simple stop motion video, then I actually wouldn't recommend this video. It might be more than you need. Instead, I'd recommend these tutorials, which are really great basic step-by-step tutorials. Actually, you can't click on this one because it's a Vimeo link and YouTube's not gonna let me. So I'll put the link in it below. If you want to make a more professional stop motion animation video, then let's keep going. You're going to want to make an animatic, and an animatic is basically just a fancy word for an animated storyboard. Think of it like your blueprint for the video. If you were to make a mistake in a blueprint, then you could just fix the drawing and it wouldn't be a big deal. But if you don't correct that mistake and it goes all the way to the building, then you have a problem. And stop motion is kind of the same way. Figure out as much as you can in your animatic, work everything out, make your mistakes there, and that's gonna save you a lot of trouble down the line. Now, I didn't draw these pictures, I'm not that good. I hired a professional storyboard artist to do them, and he is amazing. But if you can't afford to hire a professional storyboard artist, you can totally do your own drawings. As long as you can understand what's going on, that's good enough for your purposes. If you do want to get a little better at drawing your storyboards, there's this great book that I recommend. It's called Let's Draw Happy People. It's actually really cute. And it's pretty useful for making storyboards. So I'll put a link to that in the description below. So once you have your storyboards, you're going to want to edit them together. I'm using a program called Premiere. You can use any editing program you want, and you'll start to cut your pictures together just like if they were footage. And if you want, you can see our full animatic right here. Number 2, test your ideas. Again, you want to save time, so rather than thinking of an idea and getting on shoot day and realizing you don't quite know how to do it, you want to test all that stuff in advance. So you don't need special lighting or equipment for any of this. You just want to quickly test your ideas. Maybe it'll look cool if the mom gets kind of swallowed by clothes. Yeah, that looks interesting, but it's not really the look that we're going for. I don't want the clothes to just look like they're sliding across the floor. Like, maybe we can give them some sort of character. That's pretty cute. Oh, like what if it's crawling? So I actually love that last shot of the baby like clunking along, but you know, understandably the client didn't want this weird headless baby in their shot. So we scrapped it in favor of something cuter. Number 3, find shortcuts. Because stop motion is so time consuming, you are going to want to make your life as easy as possible, which means finding shortcuts. Here's a shot that took probably about an hour to shoot, and here's a shot that took 5 minutes. And the difference was that actually one of them wasn't a stop motion shot at all. It was done with puppeting. So figure out if you can reframe your shots so that instead of using stop motion, you could puppet some of your shots. And that'll save you a lot of time. Also, find ways to make your shots less complicated. One of the more complicated scenes that we had to shoot was getting the phone to suck in a bunch of clothes. And in our early storyboards, we had a bunch of drawings of a bunch of clothes surrounding the mom, and she had to suck in those clothes. And those would have been really difficult shots to do, so we instead framed them so that we wouldn't have to animate as many clothes at once. Again, this is where your storyboard is going to be super useful for figuring out what your shots are and how you can make them less complicated to save yourself time. And get creative with how you do your shots. This shot was actually just us throwing clothes on the floor and reversing it. So I left the most important tip for last, which is that none of this matters if you don't, number 4, tell a good story. It's so easy to get caught up in all the technical details of stop motion animation. It's easy to forget that yes, you still need a story. This is actually something that I struggled quite a bit on, was figuring out how to write the storyline for this. I really liked this visual of this mom being surrounded by clothes. But that alone is not a story. So how can we make this more interesting? We introduce characters. Rather than just having a bunch of lifeless clump of clothes, we have a villain, the mitten, leading the clothes. So now we have our 2 characters, a mom and a mitten, and what they need are goals. In your story, your character has to have a clear goal, otherwise your character's not really gonna know what to do, and then your audience is gonna get bored. So the mitten wants to wreak havoc, and the mom wants to keep her house nice and clean. Which is another important point. Goals have to be conflicting. That is the key ingredient to a story, is the conflict. Without a conflict, there is no story. I'm really happy with how this video turned out. I hope you like it. I was really fortunate to work with this stellar team. Eric, the DP, who is a director in many awesome stop motion commercials. I really leaned on him for this shoot. Jen, who played the mom, totally nailed the expressions, and she had to stay still for long periods of time. Jaffe is an incredible animator. He's the one who's moving all the mittens and clothes that you see. Quincy is the art director who built the set and made everything look awesome. Justin lit the set and made sure all our shots looked great. Frankel's storyboards really helped us figure out this shoot. Silas custom scored our music, and he did an amazing job. And Sean made the whole thing look professional with his color grading. And thanks so much to our PAs, Flo, Micah, Bill, and AJ. So if you want more videos like this, remember to subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook or Instagram, or you can check out my dance videos. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.